Welcome to the Beacon by Soul 33 teachings for your past, present and future. Good morning everyone. It is the 19th of June here in Auckland, New Zealand. If you're listening to this on YouTube, the app, Spotify, please tag, share, let people know, send links that this Monday Mantra 20-minute soul progression energy lesson is available to help progress your soul. It was quite a heavy week for me last week. I'm going to do a bit of a recap of last week's Monday Mantra and tell you some stories in between. So last week, your Monday Mantra was, my higher self is giving me new perspectives. My higher self is giving me new perspectives. Now, the reason it was that is because Spirit told me to set it as that. But also we had the new moon in Gemini. So Gemini being, the twins. There's always this other part of us that needs to be integrated, that we work with. And that was the higher perspective. So when things came up last week to help us grow and evolve, it might not have been things like physical things happening. They could have been emotional triggers or mental or something like that going on. But whatever needed to be changed will be happening in your favor, even though it didn't seem like it right away. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about what was going on for me. So I shared a post around rejection, and it was so strongly in my energy field where I saw a past life of my own. And that doesn't happen that often because my gift is not for myself. The wisdom, sure, I take on a lot of that, and my personality has a big part also to how and why so many people come to me. But when it comes to past lives and my own past life healing, again, I've mentioned this before, it's like a doctor. You're not going to diagnose yourself or self-medicate because you will see things and understand things differently. You'd usually go on to somebody else that you trust to try and help make sense of what's going on. So when I saw this past life of mine, I knew that this is what needed to be changed as in moving forward in my life now. So I went into meditation and I saw a lifetime of mine, and I was quite an unattractive woman. And I believe I was seeing myself that way is because everybody else saw me that way. Through their eyes, I was ugly. I had this very, very long, skinny body, and I had a very long torso, quite round bust, but very long, skinny torso. And I could smell. When I say smell, I'm not talking about body odor. It's for those of you who've been to see me before, and I talk about smell on you. It's psychic smell. It's usually telling me that you've got some sort of disease that my spirit surgeon wants me to look at, or it's very deep emotional trauma that is affecting you physically. And what I could smell was a liver and kidney issue going on with, and I was picking up kidneys mostly with this woman that I was in this lifetime before. I had some sort of burn on my left cheek, and it was really interesting because the day after I saw this lifetime, when I looked at my reflection, like catching a glimpse of myself, Gaia, in the mirror or just in the reflection of my phone or whatever it is, I could actually see the mirage, see that burn from that woman who I was. So that woman who I was had come into my body to awaken me to the rejection that I had to heal within my soul to be able to align myself with the new moon. So my higher self was connecting me to this woman that I was so that I could go beyond this limitation and reassess and realign with spiritual wisdom the new perspective on what it means to fully accept myself. And I'm going to talk a bit more about that in a minute, but I just want to keep recapping. The strong feminine energy that was coming in, I saw this very evidently when I was seeing clients. I have been having the most amazing clients coming to see me. Now, with the line of work that I am in, my clients are predominantly female. Sure, I get male clients, and very few male clients come that consistently. It's just, I feel, their nature to not want to work on things the way that a female does. They don't they're more suppressed, I would say. And this is coming from my professional opinion based on thousands of people that I've seen. However, what's been happening is Spirit's been bringing me men that are in their 60s, in their 70s of this generation, and they have been the most beautiful, vulnerable men because they're connecting in with that strong feminine energy, because that's what brings them to me, and that's what keeps them coming to me. So when I talked about your role as a wife, mother, sister, daughter, the feminine within your gender, when I put there last week, you may need to look at how you hear and listen to others, including Spirit. When these men came to see me, and these men had booked face-to-face sessions, so they were serious about their healing. They came and they poured their soul to me, where I was just so privileged and grateful for their trust in me. And that was the feminine energy that I saw in the masculine last week, which was really fascinating. And for me, I too, my feminine energy, the wounded feminine that was coming out, excuse me, with the past life that I saw, it was the side of me about being accepted. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, because it's going to tie into this week's Monday mantra. We all get rejected. Some people come into life based on their previous karma that they've accumulated with privileges that they have earned from previous lifetimes before. Not everything is earned in this lifetime. That's why every single day is an opportunity for creating new soul memories, new blueprints, changing the past, including past lives. And so when I was this woman in this lifetime before, my family sent me away because they didn't want to be harboring a witch at home, where they could be jailed or hung or burned, and they were also scared of me. So this got me thinking about what it is that my higher self is giving me for a new perspective. It started making me look at everyone around me, even my clients. Now, over the years, I have met, one day I will write a book, but over the years, I have met people from every single walk of life. I've also met very religious people. Now, in the beginning of when I was doing this work, like I mentioned to you last week, I was charging $20. My clients were like, what are you doing charging this amount of money? Here's more money. All of those things, they set my value. But what started to happen was Spirit was sending me all kinds of people because they wanted me to get the experience of what it was like to meet people. And when I got religious people, they would literally, and this is when I was doing my own emails and things, because Kieran was still working on my other business, which is now exclusively this. People would be like, I want you to tell me how you do what you do. I want you to tell me why you do what you do. Is it the devil? Are you a bad person? I used to get messages asking me if I was a bad person. And this is part, and now I know that there are people that will come to me, and I'm going to be so brutally honest here, that will come to me but will never tell anybody that they've come to see me because of the stigma associated with coming to me. And of course there are plenty of you who I know do go and talk about me or whatever it is. But there are still parts of me that the media can't handle. Oh no, you can't talk about that because people won't be able to handle it. This is what was coming up for me last week for the rejection as part of my higher self, to get new perspectives. So when I don't get clients like that anymore that want to know how I do what I do and need some sort of validation that I'm a good person, you always need to trust your instincts. With anybody you go and see for anything, if you're questioning even before you get there if they're a good person, well, don't go. Everything is how you show up. How you show up is what you're going to get out of it. And so when people used to come, and then, people who I see now, how you show up to life is how and what you're going to receive back in terms of the mirror image of you. This is why owl in the mirror exercise, because I kept seeing owls in my meditations last week as well, and they told me to set that one for you as part of your homework. because earth is a place to experience and learn, but you come here with a lot of wisdom, and sometimes we need to heal that wisdom, like the wisdom that was coming up for me in terms of that lifetime. I was looking around at everybody and I was laughing because I discussed this lifetime with a healer friend of mine because I wanted to make sense of it as to what I was feeling. And I felt it so strongly, I had to literally shut down from everybody apart from when I was seeing clients. Spent the weekend just very reclusive mode, didn't speak much to anybody, had my phone off, just wanting to come back to myself. But I was laughing, I was saying, there's certain people in my life that I have to shut them up because they'll be like, oh, yep, she does spells at home. And remember, when I talk about spells, this is why I put up that extended meaning of the Monday mantra last week. Spells, there are bad witches, let me tell you. I was born in Malaysia. In the newspaper there, it's common for people to be talking about black magic. There are, of course, but there are bad doctors, there are bad everybody. There's always the light and the dark in every industry. But yes, I do spells for people, and spells are intentions to help you align, to help you clear the energetic obstacles. So I am here laying out on the table, I am a witch that does spells, but they are not spells to hurt anybody. You know why? One, it's not in my nature to do that. I'm a healer, I'm here to help. And two, the karma falls on me. So, for example, if someone messages us and goes, I want you to convince a man to love me, I'm not going to do that because the karma comes on me. Gaia, you're meddling with something that shouldn't be meddled with. I will clear energy to help that individual bring in love, whether it's that person or somebody else, but it is not my place to meddle. The people that meddle get themselves into the shit because karmically that's not good karma for you. But it actually doesn't fall on the person that's the requester of the intention or spell. Like someone emailed us, I think I shared with you guys a couple of years ago, oh, spells are bad and you must be bad. I'm like, oh, for God's sake, spells are anything we say to the universe. I am powerful. I am manifesting money. Those are spells. I just use my healing ability to bring them more power. Sorry, that was a big, massive lecture, but it's just what wants to come out today. So when you show up in the world, are you accepting the people that you have around you fully? And it's also Pride Month, and this is another great example. I've got loads of clients who are homosexual, bisexual, and people don't know in their lives, or very few do, or only one does or two does, because that's a part of themselves that they're rejecting. Therefore, they're meeting resistance in people around them. Like, for example, someone's parents doesn't know that they're gay. So why I'm bringing all of this up is for you to think about, before I talk about this week's Monday mantra, what was your higher self telling you last week in terms of your rejection? Because I know, because we received a number of emails, Kieran was telling me, for people wanting emergency sessions because they were feeling this energy too. That's why within me healing myself is healing all of you to step up, to be seen. So last week also there was some spontaneity type of energy that came up. And you are being asked to really be curious about the spiritual power that you have, because things were coming in to transform your life. So the intentions that I set, because it came after I processed the rejection energy, came from a much more balanced place so that I could release what had been holding me back on this very, very deep level within my soul and integrate that for what I want for the future. As we moved in through the week, I mean, I wasn't surprised, because I write these Monday mantras way before the week that they come up in, and the transformation card did come up last week when I pulled it for us as a collective, and that's because transformation is taking place as we connect in with what is beyond the mind. I've been seeing this deep connection taking place with many. They are deeply wanting a connection with themselves to stop the sabotage. And when we let go of the human limitations, we begin to see life from a perspective of beyond existence, which is beyond existence, and these other realms are this copious amounts of information about you, that lifetime that came. Literally at home, my partner was concerned about me because of the state I was in processing this energy, like checking on me because I had gone into such a state of healing and upsetness that perhaps I have been rejecting parts of my life and parts of who I am and not seeing people around me accept me. But that acceptance starts with myself first. Do you know what I mean? So the magic and appreciation around conception of what is how transformation takes place. And what I mean by the conception of what is that how we feel and what shows up in our life doesn't just come from nowhere. Where was the root cause? Everything didn't just end up the way it is now without a backstory. This is why soul progression therapy is what I do. We are constantly, when regular clients come back, it is important to come back, because how you show up in one session is what you're going to get. If you're feeling deep and ready, Spirit's going to go, yep, Gaia, get in there with this. If you're not, and you're coming just for an energy shift and some guidance on practical things, yep, Spirit's going to give you that. This is what's the exciting thing about the soul, is that it's connected to the larger database. But how did we get here is all starting to make sense, and we can only go backwards, like to past lives, to past experiences in this life, to look, clear, and heal, to transform. So that card, transformation, came up for you to start looking from a place of conception, where everything started. Starting again is the adventure you want for a new perspective. And then I talked about, that past life. So what happened, because I had to disperse the story throughout this to give you context. I was sent away and my family never saw me again. And they did that for two reasons. Firstly was to protect themselves, because they were afraid of me and afraid of what other people would think of being around me. And secondly, also about 20% for my protection. But I could see that they saw me as the black sheep, the dark entity. I was Caucasian, by the way, but I could see myself with darkness around me, because that's what the stigma has been around dark skin, is that it's ugly, that it's meant to be laboring, you should be outside, because all the fairer skin tones are inside, laboring skin tones are outside doing all the hard things. And when I was sent away, it's because they didn't like it. They didn't like or understand, because I was bad, because I could shapeshift. And it was so interesting watching me shapeshift. I could transform into trees. I could transform into different things. And that's what got me really feeling into it, because I was feeling this rejection so much. Do we cower our face because of who we are and where we're from and our identity, or can we fully accept ourselves so that others can too? So if you're being rejected in some way, it's not the other person's fault entirely. It's also because something inside you is rejecting yourself, like the gay example I gave, because I have many clients who are hiding the fact but are feeling rejected because they are rejecting themselves. So I needed to spend a lot of time just processing what was coming up for me, which was healing all of you who reached out about the various degrees of rejection and lack of acceptance. So, I shared on Instagram and Facebook, when people ask me outside of my clients, like I showed on my Insta stories, I went to a gallery exhibition opening with my sister, because my sister's an amazing, talented photographer, so she asked me to go along with her. Now, it's not usually my favorite thing going along to crowds of people, but I love my sister and wanted to support her, and I did end up having a nice time. But people were asking me what I did. One person asked me, she's like, that's so interesting. And she was so lovely and just genuinely wanting to know more. Another person asked me what I did. Her eyes looked at me so horrified, and then she had to walk away. And I was thinking, this is so interesting, because obviously I'd been feeling that rejection energy, and I felt the acceptance of one person and I felt the rejection from another person. So I knew that higher perspective was starting to recalibrate, because Spirit let me encounter a person that was wonderful and nurturing and motherly, and another that was like, whoa, you're like, I don't know who you are and what you're going to know about me. And the thing is, when I'm out and I'm not working, I don't care what what's going on with other people because I'm feeling my own things. So I'm not reading other people when I'm out or in any other context apart from when I'm working. Of course, things creep in sometimes if Spirit wants me to really step in and help someone, but otherwise Gaia shuts it all down. So how are you making things better by the things that you say for other people to accept you? So, so what you were feeling last week was really starting to balance out for your new moon intentions and asking yourself, what have you been rejecting? A new perspective comes from when you can start to see the root of your feelings and triggers as transformation. This is where everything was conceived. It didn't just come out of nowhere. Rejection is your opportunity for acceptance. I put up a new moon meditation for you. If you're listening to this between Monday and Wednesday, keep doing it until Wednesday, past, till the solstice day, and then you can just keep doing your homework and other meditations. And remember, I'm always here to help you. There are different tiers and levels to see me. To see me in person is an investment. I don't say yes to everybody. I tune into who really wants to come. Those are the really serious people who want to come and be in my energy. There are Ascension Seeker sessions if you don't want to wait on the wait list and you've seen me before. There are the regular wait list if you want to wait because of the affordability. There are emergency sessions, which is to see me a little bit sooner. Mini readings, 3 PDF questions, soul magics, personalized meditations. Those are the way. Those are the most amazing way for you to heal in your own time. I infuse energy into it. They're like doing a session for me. I just know that every time I do one for a person, and some people are up to, I think, part 12 maybe, they get deeper and I get these very interesting insights, and those you can do in your own time. If you need to renew your membership or become a member, Karen is the person to ask for all of this. And remember, if you're having any IT issues, please email us, okay? Because we are here to help you. Karen is in direct contact with IT. soul33@gmail.com is Karen's email address. And if you want to look at the website, www.soul33.com, okay? Or just go straight to Karen because she will be the person that will help you, but the website will go into a bit more information about other services and things like that. So, as we move into this week, I am resilient with where I want my life force energy to go. I am resilient with where I want my life force energy to go. Rejection can keep us from moving forward, and we can be resilient but left unhealed, that life force energy goes to suppression rather than movement. We waste a lot of energy trying to protect ourselves and reject ourselves and make everyone try and see us, and by convincing them. That is what I mean. Where is your life force energy being focused on? That's why. Where do you want your life force energy to go? Life is moving forward. It's a process of letting go. It's a process of healing, being resilient. Then focusing on what you want to grow is the theme this week. Embracing all of that. Those healing moments, like how I had last week where I was literally in a state of depression for a few days, healing that rejection, they feel terrible at the time, but that period of life, but when you move through it, you know that it's all for the highest good of yourself and everyone around you. And when we are resilient, it's not about just bouncing back. It's not about just moving forward. It's coming back from a balanced place on why you had to be resilient in the first place. And so why did you? And it would have been to be accepted. So be compassionate towards yourself this week. Take some time for you. We have a very powerful week. Last week was too, but we've come into the new moon at the beginning of the week, and then we have the solstice energy, which is a great time of change to show yourself who you really are. The things we are doing, saying, and feeling are setting us up for the next 6 years, next 6 months, but also the next 6 years, because things take time to grow. So what we are planting now is really, really important, and we want a balanced and integrated life. And we don't get things by begging the universe for them. We turn our resilience into healing, into courage, into trust. So with the solstice energy, here in New Zealand, we have the shortest daylight hours And in the Northern Hemisphere, we've got the longest daylight hours, but I'm going to speak about the solstice in general, because the solstice energy is the solstice energy regardless of where you are. But it is a portal, an energy ushering us into a new season, a new phase of life. And July is really going to support our planted seeds this month, okay? So the month of July, I've already been tuning in, writing the Monday mantras and the forecast for that, and that's what's coming up. It's like next month is going to be supporting all the stuff that we do this month in terms of our healing, new growth, new opportunities, acceptance of the current to be able to move forward, feeling whole and complete rather than being in a void state and wanting what isn't there. Focus on what you have. So between the 20th and the 22nd is the time of moving towards what we want to grow. So your life force energy, and that means you need to shut down for a few days of dealing with other people and focus on yourself where you can. I know people have responsibilities. I do too, because I've got clients, but outside of that, it's going to be about me. We're all wanting to feel freedom, to be fully accepted, saying goodbye to the old and hello to the new. In general, the solstice is a time of inspiration. Now, that inspiration for me at the moment is directed inwards, but for some, it will be outwards. And that's where your life force energy is going. You'll be either feeling like you want to be seen or that you are being seen right now. So how do you want to be seen? And that's by accepting yourself. Flow with life and water what you want to grow. Start to move into a better quality of life. Feed your soul what you need. So last week with these beautiful men that I've been seeing, I want to share the story because I literally cried for days processing this beautiful gentleman that came to see me. He was in his 70s and his wife has a illness, and I didn't know that when this person came to see me. And this beautiful man came here and laid his whole soul out to me. His wife is his whole life. And it was the most beautiful thing because he was directing his life force energy towards her. And that was the thing with these gentlemen that I saw last week. They were all coming here to heal that feminine side, whether it was for their wives, for their partners, but it all came back to that partnership relationship. And remember, when one man heals themselves, they all do. When one woman heals herself, we all help heal the other women in our lives as well. So it's really, really a beautiful time of expression, acceptance, and really being resilient, but from a healing perspective when it comes to how we've been rejecting ourselves or how we've been rejecting other people in our lives. Are you fully accepting everybody in your life, including your husbands, wives, children, girlfriends, friends, best friends, sisters, or are there parts of you that's hidden? There are people in my life and my family that will never admit what I do for a living. So that's still a part of the healing for all of us. Let's just all accept each other. When we're good people, look at that person for who they are, not the stigma behind what society's told you that they do. I am resilient with where I want to go, I am resilient with where I want my life force energy to go. I am resilient with where I want my life force energy to go. Quite a big concept to think about, but that's what I do. It's for you to really progress your soul. I am here for you in all ways to support you. There are different tiers of affordability to see me. If you need support, get yourself a personalized meditation. I'm doing Solstice Soul Magics this week. I'm going to be doing them for myself also because it's going to be really important time to step through this portal. I know lots of you are reaching out for energy shifts right now, doing my best to fit everybody in. But that's why the other services are there also, because they do help and they do have an accumulative effect to heal you. Sending you a powerful solstice week. You are resilient and you will use your life force energy to transform your life. Please do email Kieran for any help at all. It's only $60 a year to be here with me on this app. Do your homework. I care for you and support you all so deeply. Sending you lots of love and strength.